Hey there, it's Dr. B here talking about leg cramps, especially those that occur in the morning when you get up. This is a very common reason that seniors come to see me, because it can really disrupt their sleep. A Charlie horse usually occurs when you are dehydrated or haven't been getting enough electrolytes, especially potassium or magnesium. And so your muscles contract and don't relax, hence a cramp. First, let's address dehydration. Dehydration can occur when you aren't drinking enough fluids throughout the day. And so when it comes to drinking fluids, it depends on the individual. But you want to add in foods that are rich in potassium, magnesium, and a little bit of calcium. Potassium, you want to be careful. You don't want to take too much, because you can end up with cardiac arrhythmias. So I recommend that you do intake more than about 40 to 60 mg's of potassium, unless you are being monitored by your doctor. If you tend to curl up into a fetal position at night, try to be more aware of that. Lastly, if you think that perhaps you have a nerve entrapment, then there you have it. Those are the top reasons why seniors get morning leg cramps. And so if you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps to promote the video. Click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our health-related videos. And I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye-bye. Just see a doctor to get checked out, because there are some simple tests that can determine if you have nerve compression. And if you do, then there are some physical therapy exercises that you can do to decompress that nerve. Try to sleep on your back if you can, because then you don't have as much compression on your legs and your feet. Also, if you are side sleeping, make sure that both of your legs are on the bed with you. Don't let one dangle off the side, because that can cramp your muscles. Now, the problem with getting enough potassium in our diet is that the only foods that are high in potassium are vegetables and fruits. This condition often results from having a job where you stand all day long or you sit all day long without moving around. So you can imagine that gravity is causing the blood to pool in your legs. If you're standing all day, that blood is gone. Pool in your lower legs, and it's going to cause swelling and cramping. There are many things that you can do to help improve circulation, such as elevating your legs 3, 4, 5 times a day. Just elevate them for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You can lie down and elevate them even higher if you can, because what you're doing is helping the blood drain out of those legs. Another thing that helps is exercise. Exercise will get the blood pumping and circulating. And if you exercise early in the morning, you'll find that you won't have as much swelling because you've got the blood flowing. Another thing you can do is wear compression socks. Compression stockings. Basically, they squeeze the blood out of your legs, and that helps to get the blood moving. And so you can wear these while you're driving. You can wear them at your job. Just make sure that they fit well, and they're not too tight because you don't want to cut off circulation. You want to improve it. And lastly, you can use intermittent pneumatic compression devices. What that is basically an air pump that squeezes your calves and your feet. And this device can be set to run all day long, 24 hours a day, and it can actually help reduce edema and promote circulation. Unfortunately, these are the foods that most people don't eat enough of. So if you find yourself craving desserts, sweets, breads, pasta, rice, things like that, that means you are not eating enough vegetables and fruit. So you need to focus on adding in salads and fresh fruit to your diet to get more potassium and magnesium. And that will help with cramping. Some people require 2 liters of fluid a day, others 3 liters. You want to be drinking enough fluid so that you're urinating every 2 to 3 hours. About every 2 to 3 hours. You should be urinating unless you are on diuretics, by the way. If you're taking water pills, diuretics, you may not want to overhydrate because that too can cause problems. But also if you are losing fluids through the skin, such as through sweating. If you have hot flashes, that can account for several glasses of fluids lost every single day. Also, any type of fluid loss through the skin can occur if you have a chronic wound that is unhealing, or if you have a lot of dryness to your skin and you are bathing too much. That can cause your skin to dry out and crack, and then you're re-losing fluids through your skin. Also, if you have urinary leakage or incontinence, that can cause dehydration. And I've had patients tell me that they are drinking several liters of fluid every day, but they are not absorbing it, and they are losing it through the kidneys, and that accounts for a lot of fluid loss. You might say, well, that makes sense at night, but why does it happen in the morning? Well, the reason is, through the night you lose fluids. When you lose fluids, you become dehydrated. And no, 2. Your parathyroid gland starts to work overtime and kind of robs your bones of calcium and phosphorus to make sure that your kidneys get enough of these minerals to make urine and keep urinating. In fact, sometimes at night people will wake up to urinate 1 or 2 times. Well, if you do that, that fluid loss and electrolyte loss becomes more significant. And when you lose enough potassium, magnesium, and other electrolytes, you start to get cramping. And if they don't get a good night's sleep, then they can't function well during the day. So this video will discuss why this happens and what to do about it. The most common type of leg cramp is called a Charlie horse. A second reason for morning leg cramps is having poor circulation in your legs, especially if you have chronic venous insufficiency. Now that is a fancy word for having problems with your veins where the blood has a hard time draining from your legs. And so the blood pools in your lower legs and feet and ankles. And when it pools there, you develop edema or swelling and sometimes clotting, and that can cause cramping, especially at night. The third reason is that you are sleeping in a manner that causes undue pressure on your legs and your feet. For example, if you have a tendency to curl up into a fetal position at night, that can cause your muscles to contract and cramp. Also, if you are sleeping on a hard surface or even a soft surface, if you are side sleeping, for example, and your leg is dangling off the edge of the bed, that too can cause cramping and contracturing of your calf muscles. And lastly, nerve entrapments can cause cramping in your legs. The most common place for this to occur is in the popliteal fossa behind the knee, where the popliteal nerve is, or in the groin area, where the femoral nerve branches can be compressed. But if any nerve is compressed, that can cause cramping in the distribution of that nerve. Okay, so now that we know the reasons for morning leg cramps, let's talk about how to fix them. So once we figure out where you are losing fluids, we can then add back the fluids that you need to replace that loss. When it comes to replacing electrolytes, this can be done with food or with supplements. Now, as far as the amount of potassium and magnesium that you need, well, that varies person to person. Now, the next thing to look at is your circulation, especially if you have chronic venous insufficiency. All right, the next thing to look at is your sleeping habits. All right.